So I had a question from one of my students who had a really difficult integral, which is located below. We're trying to find the integral of the cosine of the natural log of s ds. Okay. Well, first of all, we're going to have to use what's called u-sub. So it's called u-sub. Everybody knows what u-sub is, right? Let u equals to, we're going to do the inside right over there, natural log of s. Solving for s, to solve for s, we take the exponent to both sides, right? So e to the u is equal to s right there. Then we take the derivative of that, which is e to the u. The derivative of e to the u is e to the u du. That should equal, the derivative of s is ds right there. So let's just plug it back in. Integral of the cosine of natural log of s was u, cosine of u, times ds. What is ds? ds is right here, e to the u du, times du. Let's rewrite it. You end up with integral of e to the u times cosine of u du. That's the equivalent of integral of cosine of ln of s ds. What over there? From here, what we're going to have to do is we're going to integrate by parts now. How do we integrate by parts? Well, let's label them. Let's call this, actually, I'm not going to call that. No, I'm going to rewrite it first. Rewriting, you should get, that should equal integral of cosine of u times e to the u du. Here we go. That's our u right there, and that's our dv. Using integration by parts, integral of u dv is equal to u times v minus integral of v times du. So let u equal cosine of, cosine of u, and let's let e to the u, oh, by the way, then what? The derivative of u is e to the du. The derivative of cosine is negative sine of u du. E to the u du should equal dv. You integrate both sides, left side and right side. The integral of e to the u is just e to the u. The integral of dv is just v. So that should equal u times v. U is cosine of u times v, which is e to the u, minus integral of v. V is e to the u. I'm going to put e to the u right there, times dv. dv was e to the u du. U times what's v? V is e to the u, and then du is, where's du? Negative sine of u. So I'm going to put a negative sine of u. Let's rewrite this nice and neat. Cosine of u times e to the u plus the two minuses become a plus right here. Integral of sine of u times e to the u du. That's equal to e to the u times cosine of u du. Okay, so let's integrate by parts again. Let's call this a right here. A equals integral of sine of u times e to the u du. We're going to integrate by parts again. Let's call this u right there. Let's call this v dv right there. Du is equal to sine of u. Oh, the derivative of sine of u is cosine of u. The derivative of u was cosine of u du, and e to the u du was dv. We're going to integrate that. You end up with e to the u is equal to v. So this part becomes u times v minus integral of v times du. U, which happens to be, where is u? Sine of u. What's v? E to the u minus integral of v, which is e to the u, and then du was cosine u du. Notice that I put the cosine of u in front of the e to the u. So what happened was, let's take this equation number 1. Integral of e to the u times cosine of u du is equal to cosine of u times e to the u plus a, right? A was sine of u times e to the u minus integral of cosine of u e to the u du. Okay, so how do we solve for this guy? Well, this guy looks just like this guy right over here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add integral of cosine of u times e to the u du to both sides. We're going to add cosine of u times e to the u du. These are the same terms right here. That gets rid of this, by the way, on the right side. So you end up with 2 times integral of e to the u times sine, I'm sorry, not sine. Let's erase this. E to the u times cosine of u du is equal to, I'm going to factor out the e to the u right here. You end up with cosine of u plus sine of u. Notice we took out e to the u right here. The first term, the factors are cosine of u right there. Drop the sign, plus. We took out e to the u, you have sine of u. Almost finished. How do you get rid of that 2? Well, we're going to divide by 2 or multiply by 1/2 to both sides. On the left side, you end up with integral of e to the u cosine of u du. You end up with 1/2 e to the u parentheses cosine of u plus sine of u plus c. But what was our u? At the very beginning, u was ln of s, right? So we had to back substitute. U was natural log of s, so it becomes 1/2 e to the natural log of s times cosine of natural log of s plus sine of natural log of s, end bracket, plus c. We're going to simplify this one more time. E to the natural log, their inverse operation. That means that this cancels out. Just 2s right there. S over 2, bracket, cosine of natural log of s plus sine of the natural log of s, end bracket, plus c. That was difficult. Somewhat. Thanks, Gwen, and hope this helps.